Good evening, everybody. My name is Joshua Pollock. I'm co-author of The Heartfulness Way. It's a book about meditation, which I've written along with my own guide, Kamlesh D. Patel. This is the book. You can see it. Okay, and this is a book about heartfulness meditation. And as I said, it's written with my guide, Kamlesh D. Patel, who's actually the global guide for the heartfulness movement. And of course, that means of all the seekers, maybe the millions of seekers who are there around the world practicing heartfulness. Now, I'm glad to be with you once again. Last time we discussed meditation and a method of training and a means of experience called yogic transmission. Today, I'm with you to share something different. I'm here to share with you a technique that promotes mental hygiene, that promotes emotional hygiene, that gives you a sense of rejuvenation, that creates a feeling of lightness. Right? We all need this feeling of lightness. See, I always want to share with you, oftentimes I think we become upset, right? Because we realize how little control we have. Right? There's so many things that influence us, which are beyond our control in life. Right? And if we were to try to catalog how many influences there are, which are beyond our control, I think we would be amazed, right? And you can't control people. You can't control nature. Situations are beyond our control, right? If everything went according to our plan, all wishes would be granted, everything would go perfectly. For me, for you, we would think, this is a perfect life. Everything is going as I want it to go, right? But we can't control everything, and things do not go as we want them to go. And then we say, it's an imperfect world. Now, what happens? When there's imperfection in this world, and things don't go as we want them to go, then of course we become upset. See, ask yourself, what is the extent to which all of the things that you can't control in life, what is the extent to which they directly impact the way you feel? What's the extent to which they directly impact the thoughts that you have? Right? There's got to be some proportion there. Now, if we're going to allow all of these external influences to create emotional states within us and to create the kinds of thoughts that we're having in our head, then we're the victims of this world. Very plain and simple. We're victims of our circumstances, right? So that means we have to ask ourselves one question. Is it possible in an imperfect world to be happy? Is it possible in an imperfect world to be at peace? Now, if it is, that would only mean, because we can't change our circumstances so easily, and there's always going to be problems in the world. There's always going to be problems in our lives. There's always going to be difficult people around us. And nature also is going to throw challenges at us. Always. That's a given. So understanding that, if it's possible to be at peace, and if it's possible to be happy in this imperfect world, that would only mean that it's because we've learned to manage our emotions and our thoughts, our responses to all of this imperfection, our responses to this world that we live in. If we're able to manage that, then we can say, yes, there's happiness, yes, there's peace, right? It's not going to be because we've changed the world around us, because we've changed ourselves. So now we come to this concept of hygiene, mental and emotional hygiene. What can I do within myself? What action can I take to make myself better, to make myself well amidst so much chaos around me? That's what we're here for. That's what yoga is for. Okay? That's one of the first things that yoga achieves. I won't say that is its ultimate destination, but it does solve this problem. So let us speak about medicine. The medicine to cure this disease. Curative medicine is one kind of medicine. Preventative medicine is another. Yesterday or 2 days back, we talked about meditation. That's preventative medicine. That's to create such contentment inside you that you're okay, no matter what happens surrounding you. You're okay. Meditation is preventative medicine. I'm going to share a technique with you today, which is curative in nature. That means once we've already created so much complexity, we've overthought things, and we've created confusion in our minds. We've had emotional reactions, and those are creating a feeling of burden on our hearts. Right? These thoughts and emotions. When we're carrying an emotional burden, what can we do about it? So today I'm going to share with you a technique to remove that. And I don't think I'm overstating anything here. I'm giving you a technique today which will actually remove the emotional burdens that you carry. Now, two kinds of emotional burdens. One kind is if something happened to you today and you're still upset about it, right? You feel as somebody yells at you, someone shouts at you, and you're feeling upset about that. That's one kind of burden. It's fresh, it's raw. You're experiencing its effects right now. That's one kind of burden. There's a second kind of burden. Second kind of burden is one you don't even realize that you're carrying. Something happened long back in life. It created an impact then, but then you forgot about it. But did it really go away? No, it did not go away. It sank into the subconscious. And there, it influences you from within in a subconscious way. It guides you. I don't think we really are aware of the extent to which the subconscious influences the way we perceive things, our worldview, perceptions of reality. In fact, our perceptions of reality are conditioned by our past experiences and our past emotions. That means that we're unable to perceive reality as it is. But by removing the impacts from the past, it naturally follows that then we'll be allowed to see the present for what it actually is, unconditioned. So when we're able to remove these burdens created either today itself or years back, our entire experience of life will change. So this technique, we call it rejuvenation technique. We also call it cleaning technique. And I'm going to walk you through how to perform this technique right now. Now, as we do this, at a certain point, I'm going to say that you should have an idea that something is leaving you from the area between the top of your head and the base of your spine. What I mean by that, just look right now, observe. Top of your head, here, right? Top of your head, and the base of your spine, down there. That area, right? That's what I'm talking about. Now, let's try this technique. So please close your eyes and sit comfortably. Any position will do. Asana is not important here. Sit comfortably with an intention to remove this burden that you've accumulated. Now imagine you form the thought, you suggest to yourself that all complexities and all impurities are leaving your entire system, and they are flowing out behind you in the form of smoke from the area between the base of your spine and the top of your head. So within that area, complexity, impurity, it is flowing out behind you in the form of smoke and leaving you permanently. Now get a feel for this. do it along with me. Everything is going out from behind. This is not like meditation where you're passive. Here you use your will. Now, gently accelerate this process. Intensify this process where things are flowing out with greater speed. Perform this with great confidence that this is being done and determination. If your attention drifts and moves to other thoughts, gently bring it back to this process. And now accelerate a little more, intensify it a little more. Let the smoke flow from your back. But gradually, you'll start to feel lightness within you. You will start to feel that this process is complete. And when you do feel that, now you allow this process to die down. Gradually, this smoke stops flowing out from behind you. And instead, a current of purity enters from the front now. It enters you from the front, straight into your heart. This current of purity from the source. And having entered your heart, this divine current now starts to spread around your whole body. Starts to saturate your entire body, and every organ and every particle within your system is saturated and illuminated by this divine current of purity which has entered you from the front. And now you've returned to a more balanced state. Every particle of your body is emanating lightness, emanating purity, simplicity. Because when complexity is removed, simplicity remains. When impurity is removed, purity remains. And end with the conviction that this process has been completed effectively. Now, this process is something that shall help you so much if you do this every single day. And the best time to do it, when do you think is the best time to do it? I would suggest doing it after your day's work is completed. Because by the end of the day, you've gone through so many things. You've emerged from the battlefield with your scars. You've had so many interactions with people. Even during this lockdown, now you're interacting with your family. And we tend, not to have any filters with our own family. So the possibility of getting into fights is even greater when we're at home, especially when we're all locked in together. So this is a way to clean off the burden of these emotions, of the lingering stress. And having done so, we become less reactive, and now we're better fit actually to interact with other people. More fit to do so, right? It's like, let's say, forget about lockdown. When you're at the office and so many things have happened during the day. Now you come home, you're a little bit stressed, right? And your spouse, same thing, also has gone through so many things, a little bit stressed. Now, when these two people meet, whatever your differences are going to be exaggerated now, and the likelihood of either party or both parties being reactive is increased. So the best thing to do as soon as you come home, sit down, do this process. We can call it the cleaning process, we call it the rejuvenation process, whatever. Do this process for at least 15 minutes, no more than 30 minutes. You'll feel so light, you'll feel as if you're so fresh, energetic, better than when you first woke up in the morning. Now you can have dinner. You'll be able to digest your food better as well, as a result. So that's how to just erase the effects of the impact of so many emotions that we've had during the day. Reduce the emotional burden that we carry. Get rid of emotional memory. You'll never get rid of the actual memory that such and such a thing occurred. You don't want to get rid of that. But the impact of these events, that you can absolutely destroy. So that's what this does. Meditation, it makes you non-reactive, so you don't create these burdens in the first place. See, these burdens that I'm speaking of, this emotional residue, we call it impressions. In Sanskrit, they call it samskara. Okay, and there's so much about samskaras in the Yoga Sutras and things like that, right? But it's very simple. It's emotional memory. And you can remove it through this process. And by creating a meditative state within you, by meditating in the morning, it's different than this. I just gave you a cleaning technique. Now, if you wake up and do meditation, which I showed you 2 days back, you'll create a state in yourself where you don't react and you don't form all of this stuff within you in the first place. Then what need will be there to do such a technique as cleaning? Okay? So these two go hand in hand, preventative and curative. So good luck with this. I wish you all the best. I'm going to put a link in the comments right now. Okay, so I've just given you a link in the comments. That is the same practice that I just walked you through, and other practices are also there. So you can, if you forget what I've told you, you can just refer to that and go through it on your own until you really get it. Best thing, do it the same time every single day. That goes for everything. Create a biological clock in yourself. If it's meditating, meditate at the same time. If it's doing this cleaning, do the cleaning at the same time. If it's eating, eat at the same time. If it's doing asanas, do those at the same time. Right? If you, let's say, you eat every day at 7:30 a.m., that means you're naturally becoming hungry at that time. Naturally, these gastric juices are being produced at that time. That means that digestion will be better at that time. So everything that you do, if you're in a habit of doing it regularly at a particular time, then that will be done with much more ease, much more naturalness. Whereas, if you do things at a different time every single day, it'll be like you're swimming against the currents. You'll be swimming upstream with everything that you do. So make life easy for yourself. Adopt this principle of regularity. And for this, okay? Thank you very much. See you soon.